Break it down. I gotta drink some water. Welcome back to part 3 of Let This Dream Be Forever. Nothing much, let's just start. Hot and Miko, it's good. It's been yeah. Alright, so my memory, where do we left up? No one really cares, let's just start. A new day at my disposal. Almost. Weekdays in this world will require a new schedule, and I'll get used to it. Well, forward to new achievements. Yeah, my morning begins with such a wonderful philosophic mood. For this day, I didn't expect anything interesting, so I spent time at the school with not very great interest. But of course, it was all different from that boring time in my last place of study. I was just indifferent to what was happening. But now, everything's different. I usually communicate with my classmates, laugh, and enjoy their company. And I spent the best time with Sayuri at some breaks. And don't forget about Kiba. Oh shit, I forgot his voice. I'm sorry, my voice changed. I just forgot. Are you thinking about the structure of the universe again? Well, maybe. Huh? You know, I remember you being so lost in your thoughts. Did you just prefer to put your head in your hands and try to sleep? That's interesting information about the past protagonists of this world. Well, I don't do that now, as you can see. Yeah, you're right. However, this is strange. After that, Kiba was distracted by something else, leaving me alone. I had no choice but to bury myself in my thoughts again. It's club time. Today's school day went by pretty quickly. The atmosphere inside was the same. One that I got used to in a short time. Everyone had already found something to do. I just had to join someone. I might have found myself in the company of Yuri, but we talked enough last night. I think he's probably waiting for me to read the manga, but I think she can wait. The choice is between Sayuri and Monica. I planned to talk with the first one yesterday. I should pay attention to our club president. Monica as usual sat at the table and sorted out papers, while rummaging through her laptop and digitally looking for something. It seems that she really has a lot to do, since even in the club she is busy with all this. It's bad to distract her from work. It will be stupid and tactless. So, you need to come up with a good reason to sit down with her. Of course, why come up with some third-party reason when you could just offer your help? I hope there is something suitable for me. With such thoughts, I went to Monica. Hi. How is the best president of the club? Monica looked at me strangely at first, but after a moment she smiled and answered, Hi again. Everything is okay. Do you even work during club time? It turned out that in club time, I have to do very pleasant things. Okay. Everyone's always asking for something. Do you mind if I help you? At this point, Monica blunted her smile a little. I was surprised at the request. At the same time, it was clear from her that she didn't want to mix me in here, but at the same time, she didn't want to refuse help. It's okay. I can handle it. You can go do something with the others. I don't think it would be right to give new members of the club such a job. I completely disagree with this decision. I need to somehow get her to help me. Sorry. Rephrase it. Go back. I need to somehow get her to help. I need to somehow get her to let me help. That's the problem. Hey, you probably don't want to sit with all these papers. And for sure, after the club, you will continue to do a lot of work. And you don't have to always take all the work on yourself. Everyone will use it. Anka started to look away. Such offers are probably made to her infrequently. It's interesting to see her like this. She refused my request a second time. Was she? Okay. Actually, there's something here that I can entrust to you. Since you assist too. I will gladly help. I didn't think that someday I would be glad that I was allowed to help someone with some papers. But on the other hand, I would hope Monica and probably half of all the boys here at school would give a lot to get into my situation. But I don't care about romance with Monica. No, I need to win her trust and find out more information about her. Honestly, I look like some kind of a spy. In the meantime, Monica pointed me to areas where I could help her. My task wasn't so difficult. I had to double check some records for shortcomings. I had to add something, and at some point, Monica and I even consulted on how to do better. During all this work, I felt well that the girl became a little more cheerful. What do you want to help? Well, do you like to carry everything on your own? Of course not, but I'm already used to it. Are you used to the fact that everyone is relying on you and thinking that you can always do everything? Exactly. For some reason, it seems to me that at this time she shouldn't have smiled. Is it so? Why put up with it? I didn't really have much of a choice. Or I don't have the courage to change anything. And after that, there was a slight silence in the conversation. I didn't answer because I was waiting for something else from Monica, and at the same time, I thought about how to let her talk more. There were quite mixed feelings inside of me right now. After a while, the girl smiled and said, "You know, let's not talk about it now. Otherwise the whole working mood will go astray." Missed my chance. But there's no way to continue, otherwise it could turn out worse. There will be time for questions later. You're right. Especially since we're almost done. Michael was glad that the topic wasn't continued, so we went back to our normal working atmosphere. Work together went much faster. Probably without my help, Monica would have to sit up for a long time. At this rate, we soon finished and breathed a sigh of relief. Thanks, Dana. You helped me a lot today. I don't know how to thank you. It's okay. Glad to help. Having finished with our business, we realized that there was very little time left for exchange of poems. But still, it can be done quickly. Right? I hinted to Monica that the exchange should still go through. She hesitated a little, but then agreed. The president announced this news to everyone. Everyone hastily began to look for their poems. Well, I should also find my own poem. A minute later, everyone was already sharing their work, but a little faster than last time, because time was running out. But on the other hand, Mona sat at the club for a bit. The poems of all girls except for Monica remained the same. The new work of our club president was very interesting and unusual, probably due to the fact that it's new to me. I, as you might guess, took one of my old poems. I think that next time I need to write a new one, although I'll solve this issue later. In any case, tomorrow we won't make this exchange. My advice to improve the club was taking less time, so it's not going to happen every day. After our only club activity was over, Monica announced the end of the club day. Waving to everyone, Sawyer and I went out first. And as soon as the club was left behind, the girl prompted her lips, asked me, "What were you and Monica doing together?" Was it not visible? We're working with documents. However, the question bothered me. Well, okay, I'm not talking about that. Look, you remind me of Natsuki right now. You know that Monica is always busy with something. It's hard for her to cope alone, so I decided to help her. But yes, you're right, sorry. Indeed, we never interfere much with the others in her affairs. Monica always says she can handle herself. So you need to be a little more persistent. But you need to do it gently and correctly. I didn't know you could be like that. And what do you mean? The fact that in the last stage you behaved in a completely different way than before. You changed so much. It's for the best, right? Yeah, maybe something in me has changed. In fact, your interlocutor said from this world, your former friend has disappeared. Instead of him, not everyone will be content with me. I can't say something like that to her. I gotta think you're happy the way they are now. You like a club, right? Of course I like it. Otherwise I wouldn't have had to take so much initiative. Sarah was quite satisfied with this answer, and her happy face just makes me happy. Half an hour later, I was already sitting at home and peacefully drinking tea, watching all sorts of things on my laptop. What is my day for today? To be honest, nothing interesting comes to mind. Okay, I'll do my homework. After an hour doing homework, I had to take a short break. I love to do breaks, and this weakness for breaks greatly spoils my productivity. I continue my studies at a slower pace after the break. In fact, I really didn't want to do all this at such a time when in this moment, most beautiful world, I can chat with the girls from the club. I can take a walk on this magnificent street under incredibly cool weather with the happiest mood. I had to spend this time at home with this attitude, but I didn't want to do it all day, so soon I was just lying in the bed and listening to music. It relaxed me a lot, although strange thoughts continue to come to my mind. Nothing new, right? I'm just lying and think about everything. Oh, I'm just lying and think about everything. Why? Jump up abruptly and sat on my I jump up abruptly and sat on the bed. Okay, it's almost evening. Stop lying already. I don't like what I think about. I need to calm down. But suddenly a strange uneasiness came over me. I don't like it. I sat down at the table and started one of the games on my laptop. It certainly won't let me worry. But does it feel so weird at all? Everything was just fine. I felt pain in my stomach after some time. It's strange and incomprehensible. As if someone is picking something sharp there. Oh crap. Where did such pain come from? I got up and went to the kitchen. But when I got to the door, my stomach merely pricked, stronger than before. From such a surprise, I even sat down on my knees right in front of the exit to the stairs. Damn, now my head is tingling strangely. What a sharp pain. Should I go down to the kitchen, or should I stay like this? Then I should at least slide down in bed. I tingled in the stomach, and then in my head. On the one hand, I got rid of unnecessary thoughts because now only one thing was spinning in my mind. How to relieve this damn pain that arose out of nowhere. I feel like I'm going to die now. The pain hit my head again. Let this stop already. Instead of one thought, hundreds began to fly into my head, but there was no sense from them. If a phone, I could call someone. Would it help me? If I call an ambulance, it would definitely help. I don't even know my address. Should have asked Sayori about our street, or at least look at the house in search of a name. What an idiot I am. I didn't even foresee anything in case of illness and something like that, but it couldn't have happened so abruptly. However, it will still be useful to call there. Where is the phone? I lifted my head a little and looked at my desk. My salvation is quite far away. With an intent to turn from the door to the table, my head ached more. I can't take it anymore. I made a dash for the table. The stomach answered the same, only to the determination of me. But I managed to grab the phone and managed to dial the number. I crouched on the floor from the pain in my stomach, not even able to somehow continue to act. I need to call. Without it, everything will be lost. When I opened my eyes, I no longer felt pain. Now I could see my chair and the floor in front of me. The phone was in my hand. What happened? I just passed out for no apparent reason? My stomach no longer hurts and my head is fine. There is definitely something wrong here. Maybe I should go to the doctor. I need to find out where the hospital is in this city. I need to ask Sayori about it. No, I can tell her about this. She will start to worry about me a lot. On the other hand, what's wrong with that? If I tell her, she will understand that I trust her and will solve the problem quickly. Unless, of course, there's something serious here. The decision was made and I dialed the number of Sayori. She immediately answered. After quickly telling her all the details and, again, saying that because of amnesia, I didn't even remember exactly where the hospital was, I arranged to meet her at my house. According to Sayori, the hospital wasn't far. We'll have to take a bus. We were extremely lucky. It was possible to make an appointment at a very good time. We had to be there in an hour. Sitting I was waiting for Sayori. I didn't even have to wait long for her. Apparently she was worried, which is why she came so quickly.
Dina, are you alright?
Hi again. Everything is okay now, but it won't hurt me to check again. You're a little pale. What happened? It would take a long time to explain. Let's go already. We'll be late. There's not much to say about going to the hospital, but still I can tell something. We easily managed to get to the right place. The road took half an hour, so we had to wait a little more. During this time, Sari was interested in my health and what had happened earlier in my house. After waiting in the hospital, I told about what happened to me. It is impossible to clearly identify any problem with me, so I had to sit a little longer to understand everything in more detail. But it's better to be patient than to sacrifice health. I was prescribed some medication, but I wasn't at all sure that the doctors had accurately determined what was wrong with me. That's also strange, but since Sayuri and I returned home, after traveling with me, she calmed down a bit. I was about to say goodbye and go to rest, but the girl insisted that she should look after me, just in case. Well, that's not a problem, but a little privacy would do me good. Fully agreeing, I spent the rest of the day with Sayuri. A pleasant rest of the day and pleasant company. Closer to sleep, we wished each other good night and parted until the next day. It seemed that I lived here for a very short time, but how much of my life has become richer in the last time? So much has happened. It doesn't fit into my head that I just found myself in this world, going to school along the winter road. Is this magic? Otherworldly phenomenal? Extraterrestrial begins to me to another world for experiment. Nonsense, I don't have adequate assumptions for this situation. I guess I should just focus on sleep and relax. Okay, well, thank you for watching. We're gonna end it here. It's short, but who cares? So, goodbye. I can't remember when the school will have a festival. I just fill up my head and that's it. On the other hand, will it ever happen? Or I just fell into that period where this festival is still a long time away. Whatever, I just have to ask Monica about it. This is quite valuable information because the festival wasn't in the original game and I have no idea what will actually be there. I thought about it earlier, but now I need to think more seriously. And there, we'll have to read poems. I had to do this too. Well, my work should reach other people's minds. Although in one of the mods for this game, the festival went terribly and then the small pearl. We don't need this. Well, I can only hope for the best. I did not spend my school time very interesting. Today's topics could not interest me, and I was not drawn to conversation with the rest. But Kiba, of course, was talking to me as usual, but he even managed to often distract me from any unnecessary thoughts. Did not in any mood or form of mind. We would communicate with his usual tone and smile. We mostly talked with him about all sorts of nonsense, as well as with friends from my past world. The lessons were held as if I was put into hypnosis. Sometimes Kiba even had to pull me out of my intense reverie. And sometimes the teacher also had to do it because I might not immediately respond to a request to answer. It seems to me that I have never flown so strongly in the class as to on this day. Cloud time was coming. I need to wake up. Maybe it's all because of yesterday? It's possible, but some absent-mindedness cannot prevent me from having a good time. Okay, time to go to the girls. The club is quiet as always, because there wasn't very many participants. Everyone's already everyone's already as men lit. But now I'm here too. See, me and Monica quickly wrote something in her notebook and set it up to all of us, preparing to say something important. Okay everyone, I have something important to announce.
Is it related to the festival?
Natsuki asked with some dislike in her voice. Exactly. The day of the festival is approaching, so we all have to participate in it. That's the news. Just recently I was just thinking about all these events and today Monica is already announcing preparation for the festival. Well, we have to do some extra preparations. Just like in the game, Natsuki grumbles about this along with Yuri because they are afraid to recite the poems in public. Sayuri cheered on the gals, and I joined her, trying to show that it was all great and not scary. Monica, of course, offered to have trial poetry readings between us to make things easier. After an hour grumbling and indignation, our two still agreed to this. We won't share poems today, so it was logically to start right away with test readings. But there was a problem. If today we were not supposed to have an exchange, then there was no poems with us today. But still, someone had past poems with them. Monica wrote a new one, and I had a lot of work and reserve in the cloud storage. My bad. For me personally, the part of the game where the guys take turns, gals take turns and read poems to each other is the most boring. Therefore, I mainly put myself in the mood in which this running events don't bother me much. But still, there was a part of me that wanted to know how it would go. Mako was the first to read, setting a good example for others, and making it clear that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Yura was next. She was a little shy, but in the end she read her work perfectly. Sorry, read it somehow in a special way. If you read her poem on paper yourself, it will be completely different. It was my turn before Natsuki, so I went to the center, already thinking about how best to read my work. For today I chose the poem Darkness, which is simply incredible whispered out loud. It was a lucky coincidence that I chose it for today. Alright, what I wrote? Darkness, darkness, stare. Darkness. Ink in the puddle. Crying blast. Darkness. Darkness. Dark. Yes. And the distant distance in the darkness. Amusing someone is amusing. Darkness changes ink forms. Darkness changes in ink crowds. Holes in the darkness. Voids in space. And the path ends in darkness. Can't say anything. Darkness. Darkness. There's little air. Scary. Someone's very scared here. It's scary and dirty in the darkness. There's only fear. Empty and dark. They cry in darkness. They hide all in their secrets in the darkness. As with everything in the darkness anyway. In the darkness, I can only pray. The air here is gloomy, and the voice here is terrible. Life is empty here. Fears aren't clear. The people there are scary, but no, they're scary everywhere. That was a good poem. The girls were looking at me with anticipation. Okay, just need to read it. I guess a minute has passed. I rated pretty well, and judging by the expression of the faces of the girls, I managed to make some impressions. It turned out incredible. I didn't think you'd be so good at it. There would definitely be no problems with your part at the festival. I agree with Monica. Well, I consider that my task is completed. Natsuki was supposed to read the poem last. After my speech, she felt somewhat insecure. Somehow, sorry. But after our support, Natsuki was still able to overcome herself and perform no worse than the others. Analyzing what was happening, I thought that everything wasn't so bad. The idea of reading poems is not very good, in my opinion, and it requires the attention of a more experienced and correct listeners, and not just someone outside and far from human creativity. But listening to all of the work of girls, I realized that we can impress people who come to us. How that only adequate guys will be at the festival at our performance, well, if at least someone comes, of course. Although given that this whole event will have cupcakes that Natsuki will cook, a large group of people will come here to eat for free. I am sure that there will be cupcakes, because so far everything is going as it was in the game. But after the start of the festival, I will no longer know about further events, only about the problems of girls. After a few more closing remarks from Monica, everyone went about their business. Soon the club time will end for today. I decided to spend time with Natsuki because we didn't have time to discuss her manga with her. Nothing interesting can be said about the time with Natsuki. After a while, we were already going home because Monica announced that it was time for everyone to leave. Sayori, as usual, ran up to me and was ready to go along. And for all this, we assigned responsibilities for the festival. Natsuki will bake cupcakes, Yuri will take care of the atmosphere and the beauty of the surroundings. Monica will help Yuri and also take care of all the important paperwork. Terry and I will be working on a sign that will be on of the club during the festival. And also we will work on a small addition to Nasuki's cupcakes in the form of different postcards or something like that. The festival should be on a Monday. That's right, and now we're leaving for the weekend. Fortunately on Saturdays I don't have to study at this school, so I can get a good night's sleep. Sarah and I agreed to do the work for the festival tomorrow. At 13 o'clock we'll go shopping and then get togethers and work at my house. Not so bad considering that the case was not so difficult for us and I have the company I need. Tomorrow promised to be interesting. At home I put my backpack, but for some reason I didn't want to linger here. My gaze was thrown out the window, harmony reignited in the street, and everything was incredibly sunny and wonderful. And so I immediately wanted to go outside. There was a comfortable bench next to the house. Now I could just sit back and enjoy the outdoors. The wind often blew my direction, and from this, it became even more pleasant. Some special mood rolled over. Unexpectedly, joy manifested itself inside me. Once again, I admired the sky, and the clouds on it were somehow magical. But before I assumed that they were the softest in the world. Well, everything that was below the sky seemed somehow more alive than before. I would love to hug someone right now. Yes, even a cat that passed me at one moment. And I almost succeeded, but I managed to pet the cat only a few times, after which it ran away. Carried away by something more interesting. There were no people on the street, so it is unlikely that anyone noticed my communication with this cat. But I was wrong. I noticed Marco was standing not so far from me and watching my actions with a smile. Interesting. Not that I was against the company now, because I was in such a good mood. However, we could say that I managed to enter some special state, spending time alone with nature and the street. Well, I waited for Monica to come closer. After that, I began to wait. There was a special smell in the air. Thanks to it, in a short period of time, I managed to enter my special state again, which it had been for the last half an hour. Hi, Dana. Monica really me enthusiastically. I snapped out of my trance and turned my attention to the girl. Standing up, I stretched and for some reason, without any hesitation, hugged Monica quite tightly. She was taken aback by this. It was definitely noticeable. But then she smiled and asked, "Are we having a day of tenderness today?" Wait, what have I done now? And now the realization has come. It was terribly awkward. But Sari saw this from the window. Oh no! Then my life is over. Then my life in this world is over. No! Oh crap. Sorry. It was just such a good mood that I even wanted to hug someone, and he suddenly appeared here. I did mechanically, so my excuses sounded quite sincere. But will Monica believe in this sincerity? Don't worry, it happened to me once too. But I hope it wasn't a ploy just to get close to the most popular girl in school. Her smile is getting more and more interesting. There's something sexy in this look. What am I thinking? No, don't think badly of me. I'm sorry about that. It's okay, don't worry. Monica said this and put on her natural and elegant look. Why are you sitting here? Oh, the mood was good, so I wanted to sit here in the sun. This is amazing. The weather is truly amazing. She seemed to want to add something else. We've been looking at each other for about a minute, but then Monica asked with a smile, "Would you like to keep me company?" This question surprised me a little. I can get lost in the city. I don't know. Wow. Where are you going? I need to go to the city, and then I'll go to help a friend in the library. Okay, I'll let us spend time with you. Rising, I involuntarily looked again at the sun, still bright and cheerful. Monica gently tugged at my sleeve, letting me know that I was staring at the sun. Wow, I have a great role to keep such a beautiful girl company. I thought all the boys in our school would be jealous of that. And one of my friends from the real world would definitely be surprised and want the same. Other clothes were not the best for such a walk. Our clothes were not the best for such a walk. We were still in school uniform. I should have had time to change, but it was too late. We went by bus this time. Monica and I sat next to each other. I'm lucky. Judging by her, she was in a good mood. However, it was the same with me. It's not in vain that I sat so long. Sorry. It was not in vain that I sat for so long enjoying nature. When she was looking out the window, I got too surreptitious at her. Look at her. Fine. I got too surreptitious look at her, trying to come up with some kind of lead in order to ask her about her personal problems. In the club, she touched on this topic, but quickly move on to a new one. What are you thinking about? Well, I think about what we have to do. Don't worry, it won't take long. Or you want to spend more time with the club president. It seems that at this moment her smile became even more luscious and strange. Her gaze was Her gaze was definite, to say it the least. I won't fall for these provocations, although when she is sitting so close, it even smiles so sweetly at me. Wait! Stop! Unnecessary thoughts aside. Don't turn your dreams into mine. Monica laughed softly and turned back to the window. Probably the view there was more interesting than talking with me. Although, I will also not mind taking her place at the window. It's still interesting to watch the buildings and people passing by you, but Monica continued to smile. She looked quite peaceful. It looked like she might fall asleep right now, given her busy schedule. This isn't too surprising. Hey, what's your schedule for the rest of the day? After going to the library, I mean. Everything's busy as usual. There was a note of annoyingness in her voice, back to a not so pleasant topic. But today, this workload is a little less, and it pleases. You take on a lot, don't you? Or you have some personal unresolved issues? A little bit of everything, but if I start talking, then you'll probably get bored quickly. Are we in a hurry somewhere? In a way, you're right, then I can tell. I prepare myself for a huge to-do list that Monica has to complete no matter what. She thought for a moment and then spoke again. I don't know how long I'll be in the library, but I hope not too long. After that, I'll run back to school because there will be some kind of event that I'll definitely need to attend. It will be evening time, so after the event, I'll go to the grocery store. I listened carefully to Monica, imagining each event in my head and roughly estimated how much time it would take. From the start, I mainly go to the post office. I need to pick up something there. Well, the rest of the time, I will spend at home for lessons and extra classes. Actually, all this is just before a cup of delicious coffee. The girl finished telling her plan for the day, and I thought what to answer her all this. She calmly and unexpectedly looked at me. You really have a busy day today, but if I remember correctly, you said that this time there are a little less tasks than usual. Exactly. Monica said it so joyfully and sweetly, as if there was something fun. Yes, this girl is just something, nor does she seem to complain too much about such a life. This is a level of resilience I should strive for, but the main thing is not to overdo it, like Monica. Are you satisfied with such life? Monica was a little embarrassed, turning to the window, but after a moment she turned back in my direction and answered, I could give you an exact answer. I always feel different. But Monica looked sharply out the window, not finishing her sentence to the end. Then she began to push me to the side. Oh, and here's our stop. Let's go. Well, again, this stop will be left for later. I started to get up from my seat to let Monica pack. She got my hand and we hurried out. Where are we headed now? Oh, sorry, voice crack. Where are we headed now? To the store. The smile never left her face. So innocent. But I want to go there after a bunch of other things. Everything's great, but for now, I'm going to take the little snack with me. You didn't think I'd do everything on an empty stomach, did you? The answer is quite logical, so I fell silent, handling over the initiative to lead us to my companion. Oh, it's someone from the people I know here, so Monica cheerfully took my hand somewhere. After a while, she realized that she was still pulling my hand, and, a little embarrassed, let go. Seeing we were already standing in front of the entrance to some average store where Monica could find some quick snack. Maybe I could also grab something for myself here, but I didn't really want to, so I just had to walk next to Monica, considering all kinds of packaging options for hundreds of different products. Probably going to the store isn't something that could be beautifully retailed or described. Going shopping together will most likely bring you closer together. But in this case, I didn't need to get close to Monica. I still have Sayori. At the same time, which I didn't even try to detect, we were about to leave the store. But still, it felt like everything went more or less quickly. Sometimes Monica asked me for advice, and I stood and thought seriously about the choice. Other times I still like simplicity in actions. It was still calm outside. We even stopped for a bit on the porch on the building to just stand. Even so, it was a nice time. But soon Monica broke this silence. I think it's time to go. It's not far from the library, so we'll walk. You don't mind, do you? I agree and we slowly walked in a new direction. Monica talked about more serious and important topics than with Sayori. Voice cracked! I was partially glad of this because it isn't always the same to talk about all sorts of business. I was particularly glad of this because it isn't always the same to talk about all sorts of nonsense. Yes, our club president is a pretty good conversationalist. She always knows how to continue the conversation, so there were no awkward sounds between us. And here's our stop. Monica said as she probably stopped in front of one of the main buildings. So our nice walk around the city is over. Just don't be sad. We'll have more. Just don't be sad. We will have many more walks, including together with all the girls from the club. Monica picked up a playful picnic intonation, although some other strange notes slipped through here. Well, feel free to take the initiative and invite us somewhere. Now, it's time for me to go. Thank you for being accompanied. With these words, Monica hurried into the library building. What was that? And she was grinning and winking. Today, this girl definitely appeared to me in a completely different way. I have nothing to complain about. I remained standing, looking at the library. I guess Yuri often visits this area and comes here. It wouldn't even be surprised if this reading lover were sitting there right now. So they beckoned me to go there, but not this time. I'm sure the time will come when they be there. Now I had to go back. Hope that I haven't forgotten the way, otherwise it would be very embarrassing. Soon I was out the door of my house. Oh, sorry, I didn't notice how Monica and I left earlier. There was a day I planned to spend it in peace. And tomorrow she'll be no less wonderful because Sayori and I have to prepare together for the festival. With these thoughts and some pleasant warmth in my chest, I entered the house. Wonder how it happened that I ended up here, in this strange but beautiful place. Wait, I thought about this before. Yes, it happens to me that the same thoughts are repeated. Sometimes it's good. What am I talking about? Oh, well, we'll stop here. Thank you for joining the ride for part 3, and hopefully we'll see you in the next episode of part 4. Thanks, Hachin and Miku.